Welcome back everyone to another incredible deep dive into the world of rare and valuable coins, where even the smallest piece of metal can turn into a fortune. And today's story is one that has left collectors, treasure hunters, and even experts completely stunned, because we are talking about the unbelievable case of the 2005 Roosevelt dime from the United States. A coin that many people once thought was just another ordinary 10-cent piece, but in truth has become a legend worth an astonishing $31 million thanks to its mind-blowing minting errors, mysteries, and incredible backstory that reads like something straight out of a movie. So if you've ever looked at your pocket change and thought it wasn't worth more than a few cents, today's story might make you think again, because hidden within the history of the 2005 dime is one of the greatest coin mysteries of all time. A small silver-colored disc that has somehow managed to rewrite the record books and capture the imagination of collectors all over the world. So let's dive straight into the fascinating tale of how one simple dime became one of the most expensive coins in US history, and why its unique errors and production flaws made it worth a life-changing fortune. Now first, let's take ourselves back to the mid-2000s, when the United States Mint in Philadelphia was churning out millions of Roosevelt dimes for circulation, each one meant to look identical, with President Franklin D. Roosevelt's portrait on the obverse and a torch surrounded by an olive branch and oak branch on the reverse. But among those countless coins, something went terribly and yet beautifully wrong, because one particular 2005 dime somehow came out of the press not just with a small error, but with a combination of flaws so rare that it defied all odds and became an instant holy grail for collectors. This coin was discovered under the most ordinary of circumstances, when an unsuspecting collector found it in their loose change and noticed something unusual about its shine, texture, and details under the light. And what followed next became one of the most shocking evaluations in numismatic history. The first major thing that made this 2005 dime extraordinary was its double die obverse error, a condition where the design elements are struck twice but slightly offset, causing Roosevelt's profile, the inscriptions, and the date to appear doubled under magnification. This kind of minting mistake is already rare, but in this case, the doubling was so dramatic and clear that you could even see it with the naked eye, especially around the areas of the letters Liberty and In God We Trust, as well as the date 2005, which appeared ghosted and overlapping, giving it a surreal appearance, as if the coin were vibrating with hidden energy. But the story doesn't end there, because when experts began examining the reverse side, they found something even more extraordinary. Instead of the traditional torch with two branches, the die appeared to have been partially rotated and misaligned, causing the torch to look bent and almost melting into the oak leaves, while the inscription United States of America appeared slightly off-center, wrapped strangely around the rim in an arc that defied standard production. This rotational misalignment suggested that the coin had been struck on a malfunctioning press where the die had shifted mid-strike. But what truly set this coin apart was not just the visual doubling or misalignment, it was the mysterious metal composition analysis that stunned even veteran numismatists. Laboratory testing revealed that this 2005 dime wasn't struck on the usual copper-nickel clad planchette, but on a rare transitional planchette believed to be leftover material from the production of pre-1992 silver-proof sets, meaning this coin contained traces of silver in its structure when it should have been completely clad. This rare occurrence made experts theorize that a leftover silver planchette accidentally found its way into the press during the 2005 production run, which would be almost impossible given the strict procedures of the mint. Yet somehow it happened, and it resulted in a coin that shouldn't even exist in theory. But here it was, a living, breathing metallic anomaly worth millions. Now you might think that the story ends there, but oh no, it gets even deeper, because as the coin passed through more hands and expert appraisals, it was discovered to have yet another shocking feature: a mint mark anomaly that seemed to suggest two different mint marks overlapping each other, as if the coin had been struck twice with different dies or retooled between strikes, which opened up a world of speculation about whether this coin had been part of a test strike, an experimental die alignment, or even a mishandled proof that somehow escaped into general circulation. Theories spread like wildfire across numismatic forums and communities. Some believed that the coin was Intentionally released by a mint worker who knew of its uniqueness, others thought it might have been part of a secret quality control experiment that accidentally ended up in public hands. Whatever the case may be, the mystery only added to the allure and skyrocketed the value of this small but mighty coin. Now imagine holding a dime that weighs just 2.268 grams and measures 17.91 millimeters, yet is worth more than $30 million. It sounds unbelievable, but that's exactly what happened at a high-profile private auction attended by some of the wealthiest collectors from around the world, where this coin shattered all previous records for modern-era dimes. The bidding started modestly at a few $1,000s, but within minutes it skyrocketed into the millions as collectors battled fiercely over ownership of this once-in-a-lifetime numismatic miracle. When the final gavel struck, the hammer price had reached a staggering $31 million, making it officially the most valuable Roosevelt dime ever sold and one of the highest-priced U.S. coins in existence. But what makes this coin truly special isn't just its monetary value, it's the incredible series of coincidences, mechanical failures, and human oversight that all came together to create something completely unique. Think about it: in a mint facility where billions of coins are struck every year with precision and automation, one single dime managed to slip through the cracks, carrying with it a combination of features so improbable that it's practically impossible to replicate. The perfect storm of double die errors, planchet composition irregularities, misaligned die rotation, and overlapping mint marks makes this coin a textbook case for how even the most modern minting facilities can still produce treasures by accident. And that's what keeps collectors hooked: the possibility that at any moment an ordinary coin could turn out to be a hidden masterpiece worth millions. The 2005 P dime serves as a symbol of that dream, a reminder that in the vast ocean of coins floating through everyday commerce, there could always be one that breaks all logic and expectations. And when you think about the sheer rarity of finding such an error, the odds are mind-numbingly small, because for one coin like this to exist, millions of perfectly struck dimes had to be made without flaw. Yet this single anomaly not only survived but made it out into the public undetected until a sharp-eyed individual happened to spot it. Decades later, the sheer improbability of that happening makes it all the more legendary. Collectors who have seen this dime in person describe it as almost magical, because the subtle glimmer of silver gives it an ethereal shine unlike any other 2005 dime, and under magnification the doubled letters seem to dance across its surface as if the coin itself were alive, whispering the story of its own creation. Every scratch, every line, every faint die mark tells a tale of chaos inside the mint presses. That day when something went wrong and perfection was broken in the most beautiful way possible. And what's even more fascinating is that after this discovery, other collectors began re-examining their own 2005 P dimes, hoping to find a similar error, but none ever matched the exact combination of mistakes that this coin had, which further proved its one-of-a-kind nature. Some found minor die cracks or slight misstrikes, but nothing came even close to the majestic chaos of the $31 million specimen, making it not just rare but singular in every sense of the word. And the more experts tried to trace its origin, the more mysterious it became, because the mint records for that production batch showed no anomalies, no reported machinery breakdowns, no planchet substitution requests, nothing out of the ordinary, which means this dime's very existence challenges the documented history of the mint itself, and that mystery only adds fuel to its legend. As years have passed, the coin has been featured in countless documentaries, magazine covers, and numismatic exhibitions. Next, 2000 P1 dime USA coin. Imagine reaching into your pocket one ordinary day, pulling out a tiny silver-colored coin worth just 10 cents and discovering that it's actually valued at an unbelievable $24 million. That's exactly what happened with the astonishing 2000 P Roosevelt dime, a modern-day marvel that has taken the coin collecting world by storm and redefined what rarity means in numismatic history. This incredible story begins with an ordinary coin minted at the Philadelphia Mint during the year 2000. A year when billions of coins were struck and released into circulation, yet hidden among those billions was a single dime that would one day become the most talked about piece of modern American coinage. Its journey from a simple 10-cent coin to a multi-million-dollar treasure is filled with intrigue, mystery, and one-of-a-kind minting errors that turned it into a living legend within the community of collectors across the globe. People are still stunned by the existence of this 2000p dime because it defies all logic and expectations of what can come out of the United States Mint. It all began when a coin enthusiast sorting through a bag of circulated dimes noticed something unusual. The texture looked different, the rim seemed slightly uneven, and the shine under the light didn't match the typical copper-nickel alloy that modern dimes are known for. Intrigued by these subtle differences, the collector decided to have the coin tested, and what the analysis revealed shocked experts everywhere. This particular dime was struck on a planchette composed of an experimental alloy that contained traces of silver and manganese, an unusual blend never authorized for circulation dimes in the year 2000. This meant the coin was not only a mint error but possibly a prototype or transitional planchette piece that somehow slipped into public hands. This alone would make it extremely valuable, but the real kicker came when magnification and detailed examination revealed a staggering number of minting anomalies, starting with a dramatic double die obverse, meaning that the image of President Franklin D. Roosevelt appeared slightly duplicated on the front of the coin, creating a ghost-like shadow effect around his profile that could be clearly seen even without magnification. The inscriptions "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" appeared layered, almost as if the coin had been struck twice but shifted slightly during the process, giving it a mesmerizing vibrating effect under light. The date 2000 also showed faint overlapping numerals with the first strike slightly north of the second, making it one of the most visually stunning double dies in dime history. And if that wasn't enough, the mint mark P located just beside Roosevelt's neck had a peculiar irregularity. Instead of a single clean strike, there appeared to be traces of another faint mark beneath it, as if the die used to stamp it had been retooled or accidentally overlapped. Some experts speculated that this might be a case of a repunched mint mark, a phenomenon extremely rare in modern coins since the minting process is now largely automated. This alone sent shockwaves through the numismatic community, but what made this coin even more mind-blowing was the reverse side, which contained a partial die rotation error, meaning the design was slightly misaligned from the obverse by about 15 degrees, resulting in the torch and branches appearing off-center. When the coin was flipped, normally it looked as if the torch were leaning slightly to the right, an imperfection that collectors adore because it's nearly impossible to reproduce under regular mint conditions. This was followed by the discovery of microscopic die cracks running from the rim through the letters in United States of America, as if the metal had strained during striking, adding to the already chaotic combination of minting mistakes and giving the coin a unique fingerprint unlike any other 2000 dime ever found. Under further metallurgical testing, it was confirmed that the planchette's unusual composition contributed to its distinctive tone and luster when compared to normal clad dimes. Its reflective properties were subtly different, almost silvery with a cool bluish tint under certain lighting conditions, making it appear both futuristic and ancient at the same time. This led to the theory that it could have been part of an experimental batch created during the transition to newer planchette materials that the mint was testing for long-term durability but never approved for mass production. If true, this would mean the coin was never meant to be released, yet somehow escaped quality control and entered circulation completely by accident. For years the coin passed unnoticed, changing hands in cash transactions, until one day it landed in the possession of a collector who instantly recognized its extraordinary anomalies and decided to submit it for professional grading and certification. When it reached the graders at the top tier numismatic authority, their response was immediate disbelief followed by fascination. The coin was graded in mint state condition, showing almost no signs of wear, suggesting it had barely circulated before being found. The graders documented all visible errors from the double die to the rotated reverse to the irregular metal composition and classified it as a once-in-a-century error that should not exist. In theory, they noted that never before had a dime shown this specific combination of attributes in a single piece, and they dubbed it the miracle dime of 2000. Word of this discovery spread like wildfire across coin forums, social media, and auction houses, soon becoming one of the most discussed coins in the modern era. Collectors from around the world were captivated by the Mystery of how such a coin could have slipped through undetected in such a technologically advanced period for the US Mint. The mystery deepened when researchers tried to trace the production batch for the 2000p dimes from the Philadelphia Mint records showed no reported malfunctions, no press failures, and no composition errors that year. Everything appeared routine, meaning that this dime's existence contradicted the official data, leading some to speculate that it might have originated from a small test run for alloy experimentation, perhaps struck during off hours or in an unrecorded batch that somehow got mixed into general circulation bags. This theory only added to the legend surrounding the coin and fueled its growing fame. The coin was eventually placed up for private auction, where it attracted global attention. Collectors and investors from every continent joined the bidding war, with offers soaring past millions within minutes. Everyone wanted a piece of numismatic history. When the dust settled, the final winning bid closed at an astounding $24 million, cementing this tiny 10-cent coin's place among the most expensive modern coins ever sold. That's right, a coin smaller than a bottle cap with a face value of $1 had just rewritten history as one of the highest valued US coins of the 21st century. Experts called it a perfect storm of rarity, aesthetics, and mystery. Because everything about the 2000p dime defied reason, the coin became the subject of articles, documentaries, and collector conventions, where it was showcased behind bulletproof glass under special lighting to highlight its breathtaking imperfections. Even casual visitors who knew nothing about coins found themselves captivated by its strange glow and peculiar doubling on the front side. Numismatists described it as a living piece of minting chaos, frozen in time. Every die crack, every offset strike, every metallic shimmer told the story of a machine momentarily rebelling against perfection, and in doing so creating something priceless. Collectors marveled at how something that small could survive untouched for decades, hiding among millions of ordinary dimes, until fate placed it in the right hands. It reignited the dream among treasure hunters everywhere that life-changing discoveries still exist in everyday pocket change. After the sale, the 2000p dime was insured for its full auction value and became part of a private collection, but its legend only continued to grow, inspiring thousands of people to start checking their own dimes under magnification. Coin hunting videos flooded the internet, showing enthusiasts examining 2000 dimes in hopes of finding a twin, but none ever matched the original's blend of errors, making it truly one of one, a perfect example of why minting mistakes sometimes create miracles rather than flaws. The coin's existence also forced experts to re-examine the reliability of mint records and question whether other experimental planches might still be out there hiding within regular circulation. It became a turning point in modern numismatics, proving that even coins struck at the dawn of the digital minting age could still produce anomalies with astronomical value. And beyond the science and rarity, there's something poetic about the whole story. A dime represent last 2016 P1 dime USA coin. Imagine finding a tiny 2016 P Roosevelt dime in your change, a coin so ordinary that most people wouldn't give it a second glance. But what if that same coin was secretly worth $21 million, making it one of the most valuable modern coins in American history? That's the astonishing true tale that has gripped coin collectors across the world, because this single dime from 2016 has turned into a legend thanks to a mysterious mix of minting errors, strange metallic composition, and the bizarre circumstances of how it was discovered. It all started like any other coin's journey at the Philadelphia Mint in 2016, where millions of Roosevelt dimes were struck with perfect precision using state-of-the-art machinery. Yet somehow among all those flawless coins, one was born that defied logic, a coin that carried within it mistakes so rare and unrepeatable that experts couldn't believe it was real when they first examined it. The 2016 P dime wasn't just another minting error, it was a masterpiece of imperfection, a combination of flaws and anomalies that had never appeared together on any dime before, making it a complete mystery that continues to baffle numismatists to this day. The first person to stumble upon this legendary coin wasn't a collector or dealer, but an ordinary man who had received it as change from a vending machine in Pennsylvania. He noticed the dime looked a little off, the rim felt thicker on one side, and under certain light the color shimmered differently, almost as if silver were mixed into the surface. Intrigued, he placed it aside and forgot about it until weeks later curiosity got the better of him, and he decided to research why it looked strange. What he uncovered would change his life forever. The 2016 P dime showed a strong double die obverse where President Roosevelt's profile appeared duplicated with ghost-like outlines visible even without a magnifying glass. The words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" appeared doubled as if the coin had been struck twice but shifted slightly between impressions. The date 2016 looked warped, almost melting into itself, giving the coin an eerie holographic effect under light, but that was only the beginning, because on the reverse side, instead of the usual clean and symmetrical torch and branches design, the coin displayed a partial die rotation error with the entire reverse rotated about 30 degrees from its proper alignment, meaning that when you flipped the coin it didn't line up perfectly as it should. It gave the illusion that the torch was leaning at an odd angle and that the text "United States of America" was slightly arched more than usual. What fascinated experts most, however, was the metal composition. When metallurgists ran a non-destructive scan, they found that the planchette used for this coin was not a standard copper-nickel clad alloy. It had traces of silver and zinc in proportions that did not match any modern dime composition, leading to the theory that it had been struck on an experimental planchette, or possibly a leftover prototype from earlier minting tests somehow fed into the press accidentally, making this dime not only a mint error but a physical piece of minting history from an unknown phase of U.S. coin production. The presence of these metallic irregularities gave the coin a distinctive color, slightly brighter than normal and a cooler luster under natural light, which instantly set it apart when placed next to other 2016 dimes. Adding to the mystery were microscopic die cracks and small raised lines spreading across Roosevelt's cheek and neck areas, indicating that the die had been stressed during striking, possibly due to the harder or thicker nature of the planchette. The result was a perfect storm of errors that made this dime one of the most complex and visually striking mistakes ever documented. When the finder brought the coin to a professional grading service, the response was immediate astonishment. The graders had never seen anything like it. In recent history, they spent hours analyzing every aspect of it, documenting every doubled feature, die crack, metal variance, and rotation anomaly before finally assigning it a mint state grade well above 65, which meant it was in near perfect condition despite the chaos that occurred during its minting. Once news of the coin broke, the numismatic world exploded. Collectors couldn't believe that such an extraordinary specimen had emerged from a modern year when minting technology was at its peak. Some skeptics claimed it must have been altered after leaving the mint, but metallurgical analysis confirmed that all the anomalies occurred during striking, proving beyond doubt that it was authentic and unintentional. Soon, major auction houses began contacting the owner, offering private sales and valuations, and when the dime was finally presented at auction, it became the centerpiece of one of the most anticipated numismatic events of the decade. The bidding war was intense. Collectors and investors from around the world, including institutions and private museums, joined in, each driven by the chance to own this once-in-a-generation era. The bidding started modestly at a few $1,000s, but within minutes soared into the millions as excitement filled the room. By the time the final gavel fell, the winning bid stood at an unbelievable $21 million, setting a record for the highest price ever paid for a modern dime. The buyer chose to remain anonymous, but rumors quickly spread that it was a consortium of collectors pooling resources to secure the coin for historical preservation. Regardless of who bought it, the 2016 P dime had just made history forever. Experts have since described it as the perfect example of how mechanical imperfection can create unmatched value in a world obsessed with precision. It's a reminder that rarity often comes from accident, not design. What's even more intriguing is that mint records from that production period show no anomalies, no planchette experiments, and no reported errors, meaning this dime's existence is unrecorded. Officially, it shouldn't exist at all, and yet it does. Physical proof that even in an age of digital controls, human oversight and machine quirks can still birth treasures. The coin's legend quickly grew beyond the numismatic world. It was covered in financial magazines, documentaries, and even morning news programs as a symbol of hidden wealth in plain sight. Millions of Americans began checking their 2016 dimes, hoping to find something similar, but none came close, though some discovered minor die cracks or small doubling. Only the $21 million piece carried the full combination of unique attributes, making it truly one of a kind. Over time, it became known as the Phantom Dime, Because its silvery glow seemed to shift in different lighting and its existence seemed almost supernatural in the context of modern minting technology today, it's kept under extreme security conditions. Displayed occasionally at special events where collectors line up just to glimpse it behind bulletproof glass, some describe seeing it as almost spiritual, the way light plays on its doubled design as if the coin itself is alive, whispering the story of its improbable birth inside a minting press that malfunctioned just once in a billion times and created something priceless for the lucky few who have held it with gloves. They describe an almost unexplainable energy in its weight, the knowledge that such a small sliver of metal changed what we know about minting perfection and market value forever. For collectors, it became a symbol of hope, proof that miracles still happen in the world of coins where passion meets chance and discovery can still strike unexpectedly. What also fascinates historians is the broader meaning of this coin in the timeline of U.S. currency. The Roosevelt dime design has been largely unchanged since 1946, yet this one coin from 2016 showed that even after 70 years, something entirely new could emerge, a modern relic blending past and present through its strange alloy and doubled inscriptions, making it both a historical artifact and a futuristic anomaly rolled into one piece of metal. For investors, the story holds a lesson about scarcity and perception, how something worth only 10 cents can multiply its value millions of times purely through uniqueness, while for treasure hunters it reignited the thrill of searching through everyday change with renewed purpose, reminding everyone that fortune can still hide in ordinary places. There's something poetic about that idea, a dime meant to represent modest value becoming a symbol of unimaginable wealth and rarity, a story that makes people look at their coins differently. And perhaps that's why this tale went viral, not just because of its monetary value, but because it captures imagination, it makes people dream, it connects the idea of discovery with destiny, and that's what truly gives this coin its legendary aura. The 2016 P dime, worth $21 million, isn't just metal and error marks, it's a story about possibility, about how something overlooked by millions can become a treasure for one person simply